Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation, my brothers and sisters. This is where right and left come to be reasonable. Help me. Help me. Help me understand why I should be impressed by this latest set of revelations about Russiagate. Okay? I want you to really engage with me tonight on this. Okay? Do I think that the dossier should not have been relied on? Yes. Do I wish I hadn't bought into the sell at that time? Yes. Were there a lot of people telling me not to believe it in the media and on the podcast then that I ignored? No. Okay? Just like with the vaccine, just like back in 9/11, just like with weapons of mass destruction, it's really easy to be right after the facts come out. Okay? And I feel this is another one. And yes, I do feel that this is a great way to get the same group of people who also care about Epstein, and now they're distracted. And I have to say, the tactics to me seem like devices that would make Orwell blush. The smoking gun, classified annex. I mean, first clue. Does anybody put anything important in an annex? Special Counsel John Durham, 2023 report was on this topic. The FBI and scrutinizing their processes and their bases for the Trump-Russia investigation. It is no small irony that it seems to me that someone's trying to distract us from Epstein with this, and the irony is that they're doing the exact same thing with this that they did with Epstein, overpromising, underdelivering, grossly exaggerating the surrounding circumstances of these files and saying they now have the goods to prove Hillary got the FBI to investigate Trump in 2016. And again, I'm going to keep saying this. If that's the truth, why did Durham ignore it in his report? If you're going to call something proof of treason as a federal official to accuse somebody of that, let's go again with this statement. Keep asking yourself, why would Durham have excluded what they're saying is so powerful? Okay? These new documents, they say, prove Clinton personally manufactured the Russian collusion narrative against Trump to get the FBI to start investigating him during the campaign. Now, Durham was appointed to look at exactly this by Trump under his apparent political agent, Attorney General Barr, in 2019. He spent 4 years investigating this. No, Biden did not disrupt it, did not compromise him, did not change it. None of that is true. The report is 300 pages, okay? Remember, a special counsel, as my producer points out, they're not supposed to be novelists, okay, or giving after-action reports, all right? And if you look at Durham's report, he obviously went to great lengths to find things the FBI did wrong, okay? And this was an in-depth critique of the Russia probe, and a lot of it is stylistic. He didn't recommend any charges. He didn't recommend anybody in the intelligence community for any kind of significant prosecution as a significant player. And there were cases that he brought that were weak sauce, and he lost 2 out of 3. He charged 3 people. The 2 cases he brought to trial, he alleged 2 witnesses lied to the FBI. He lost both cases. And the third person, an ex-FBI lawyer, pleaded guilty that he altered an email that was used for a surveillance warrant under FISA. And again, I'm not arguing perfection. I am not arguing in favor of the administration. I'm not even arguing in favor of this investigation. I didn't think then that I have to cover it, right? This is what they're doing. I have to cover it. But I didn't think then. I kept explaining to you guys what collusion meant, right? Because collusion's not a crime, except in securities law. Collusion is a behavior. And did they take meetings they shouldn't have? Yeah. And did Trump say things that were incendiary and suggested things? Yeah. But that's a media story to me, not a federal investigation. Okay? And the guy who pleaded guilty got probation. So it's not like Durham struck gold here. Okay? And he did seem desperate to accommodate his mandate. And yet, he just ignored and buried in an annex a silver bullet proving Clinton worked with the FBI to frame Trump. It's nowhere in his main report, but that's how big it is. You really buy that? It's not an insult to your intelligence that they're just assuming you're not going to read the 29 pages they put out. They're hanging their hat on 2 emails. Now, there's a problem with the emails. I don't know that they're real. From a Soros think tank guy, and I know you hear Soros, all of a sudden you believe it, right? Soros think tank guy that Russian intelligence hacked in 2016. Russian intelligence. Then Dutch intelligence hacked it back from Russia and gave it to us. It's complicated, I know. But the unverified emails, okay, because this isn't our stuff. We're getting it by way of Russia, by way of the other guys. Hillary Clinton approved her staffer Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. I don't even know what that means. It's very stilted English, which makes sense because it's been twice translated in different languages. Another email reads, the Clinton staffer says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire. Okay? They're saying this is it. This is the smoking gun. Clinton got the FBI to do her dirty bidding. Sounds great. Makes sense. Deep statey, Clinton as establishment, Trump as the outsider, everybody's against him, he's the victim. It really lines up well. But one, we don't even know if the emails are real. Okay? And no, I'm not just saying that out of convenience. I don't care if Clinton or anyone else goes down for doing something wrong to you. I have no problem. I will be all over it. I promise you. If anything, I do too much of that. We're too hyper-aggressive, to be honest, right? But I don't know. The think tank guy himself says he never wrote the emails. Now, before you say, oh, yeah, what's he going to say? Trump says he never wrote that card to Epstein. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but you're not going to give this guy it, right? And he says, I would have never used the term put more oil into the fire. Okay. Now, when you translate the phrase add fuel to the fire in Russian, you get a phrase that better translates to add oil on the fire. Because these emails, again, I told you this, were translated and rewritten from English to Russian and back from Russian to English. Literally, it's a game of telephone, right, for sourcing. A Clinton official named Julia, I don't know who it is, but let's go with it, talks to a think tank guy. The think tank guy writes an email about what she said. Russia steals the think tank guy's emails. Russian intelligence translates those emails from English to Russian. Russian intelligence writes a report about the emails. Dutch intelligence steals the documents back from Russia. They give them to the CIA or FBI, and they translate it back from Russian to English. Now, look, that's all possible, okay? In fact, it's probable. It's more than possible. But it also could be false. And not only is the province and hearsay so apparent in this chain of custody, but more importantly, we could be being played by Russia, okay? They're unverified. There'd never be enough for me to report, okay? If I brought these to Michael Korn, he'd be like, how do we know they're real? I wouldn't be able to answer it. I'd try to get to the people. The guy would tell me I didn't write them, and I'd kind of be at a dead end, unless I was like the New York Post. But it didn't stop Durham from writing this bombshell claim in 2023. In late July 2016, U.S. intelligence agencies obtained insight into Russian intelligence analysis alleging that Clinton approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against U.S. presidential candidate Trump by tying him to Putin and the Russians' hacking of the Democratic National Committee. He says the intelligence community couldn't verify if the claim was legit. That is the answer to my question. He didn't include it in a big way in the main report because he didn't know if it was true. In the new annex, you see his office also didn't believe it. Page 22 of the 29-page Durham annex. They write, quote, in short, neither the office, meaning Durham's office, nor someone redacted, have been able to determine definitively whether the purported Clinton campaign blank plan blank, again, redacted, was entirely genuine, partially true, a composite pulled from multiple sources, exaggerated in certain respects, or fabricated in its entirety. Now, let me tell you why you shouldn't gloss that over. Do you know what that is the exact explanation of? The dossier. That is exactly how the dossier should have been interpreted. And we would have never had this whole witch hunt of Russiagate to begin with. So now, Durham says exactly that about this information, basically saying, I don't know that it's real. So he ignores it in his main report, but now you want to believe it's a silver bullet. On the same specious basis that you say we shouldn't believe the dossier. Trump was on much better footing with the narratives about the intelligence community and the deep state working to harm him, that they had different opinions about what Russia's motives were and picked the ones that were worst for him. That's better because it's just a matter of opinion and it's going to be hard to disprove, right? Because there's no investigation into that like there is with Durham. There is nobody who looked at the same thing that Trump is talking about and didn't see what he wants you to see. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.